The US has banned TikTok, George. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna survive? I can't live without my TikTok. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Relax. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna survive. You're gonna make it. What's my opinion? I think it's a great thing. I do. I think it's a really good thing that the US has banned TikTok. Now, don't get me wrong. I like social media. I do. I actually think it's a great thing. I think there's a lot of positives to be found in social media. The problem with it is that there's no time limit, right? So, for example, if you're reading a book, there's a time limit. You can only read it for a certain amount of time. Eventually, the book ends. The problem with social media is that it doesn't end. You can stay on it all day. It keeps going and going and going. You refresh your feed, there's more. Refresh your feed again, there's more to see. It doesn't end. Therefore, you can spend an eternity on social media and it'll never run out. That is the problem. That is the issue. I think YouTube is great. I love YouTube. I've learned a lot from it. I also really like Instagram. I'm on there myself. I tried TikTok. I looked at it. I experienced it and I hated it. Didn't enjoy it at all. I saw exactly what they were doing from the start. I do this little thing sometimes where if something new happens, if something new is brought into society, I'll experiment with it. I'll try it out. I'll see what I can gain from it. I'll see how it can benefit me. I received zero benefits from TikTok. I actually got a headache after I used it. I saw how destructive it is. You're being dramatic, George. Well, I'm not, because the banning of TikTok is a good thing. In my view, in my eyes. I'm going to explain why. Did you know that TikTok has faced scrutiny over how it collects and uses personal data? It breaches your privacy policy. You didn't read the T's and C's, did you? TikTok have faced a lot of legal issues with regard to how they obtain your privacy information and what they do with that information. So the banning of it is going to help protect users from potential privacy breaches and also reduce the risk of sensitive information being accessed by, I don't know, foreign entities, for example. And what this does is it fosters a greater sense of security in this digital age that we live in. It's so easy to give your information over to a large organization, to a social media platform that you trust, and the only reason you trust it is because everyone's using it. Whereas if some random person came to your doorstep and said, "Can you give me all of your privacy information?" You're not giving it to them for obvious reasons, but just because the world is using this social media platform doesn't mean that their intentions aren't sinister. Why else are you happy then, George? Why else are you happy that the US has banned TikTok in the US? Well, it's not just me that's happy. Mr. Badger's happy as well. And Rob the Robin. In fact, I even let Rob the Robin on my phone once and he scrolled TikTok. He got so bored, he flew away. Didn't see him for a week. I said, "Where'd you go?" He said, "I had to recover. I had to recover, George. Just had to eat berries for a week and forget all about that horrendous experience of scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, never ending, never ending." But this is the thing. A lot of people made TikTok their life. A lot of people got big on TikTok. They made money from TikTok. It was their financial income. So what it's going to do is it's going to force these people to be creative in other realms, in other ways. It also applies to the users. Spending too much time on social media kills your creativity because you're not bored anymore. You can get your daily hit of dopamine from opening your phone. Say it again, George. Didn't hear you that time. No problem. You get your daily hit of dopamine from opening up your phone and scrolling for hours and hours on end instead of being bored. Being bored is beautiful. Being bored is important. Being bored is what makes people creative. Back in the day, when I was born in the 90s, when you were bored, you'd sit around with nothing to do. So you'd pick up the guitar. So you'd pick up the book. So you'd go out and play with your friends, right? You'd beg your parents for a skateboard so you could go outside and skate around, right? Or go on your bike, play games, do things, learn things, be imaginative, come up with your own ideas. Nowadays, instead of picking up that guitar, kids are gonna pick up the phone and scroll. It's not creative. It's destructive. It's not good for you. It doesn't have a time limit. You can do this for hours and hours on end. You can do this every single day. And because it's so quick, it fires your dopamine more so than reading a book, which takes a longer process, than learning an instrument, which takes a lot of progress, which takes a lot of practice as well. You don't have to practice TikTok. You don't have to practice social media as a whole. You just do it. It's just there, ready for you. It's already on level 10. You don't have to build up to it. It's there. It's good to go. So I think it's a good thing that it's been banned. It's too much. We don't need more social stuff. We've got enough. As I say, I'm a fan of YouTube. I like it. I quite like Instagram as well. I like seeing pictures of my friends and family and stuff. It's great. It's cool. I'm down for it. But TikTok was just overkill for me. It was too much. I could see how it was insanely addictive as well. Because here's the thing, when you scroll and the scrolling doesn't have an end, you're always going to feel like you're missing out when you come off the app. When my video ends in a few minutes, you know you're not missing anything out of the video because it's come to an end. Whereas with TikTok, you scroll and there's no end. It goes on and on and on and on and on. So when you come off the app, you think to yourself, oh, what was the next video going to be? What was the video after that going to be? What else have I missed? What else aren't I keeping up to date with? It destroys your mind in real time. So the banning of it is ultimately going to improve your mental health. TikTok's algorithm is literally designed to keep users scrolling for hours, and this leads to increased screen time, comparison, and obviously increased stress. So I pray that this is going to help young kids especially to focus more on hobbies, relationships, mindfulness, and this is ultimately going to improve their mental health. That's why I love being out in nature so much with Meg the Fox and Mr. and Mrs. Hedgehog. And Rob the Robin. I'm not even joking, there was literally a robin there. That's so cool. Hi, Rob. I think it was Rob. I assume it's Rob. There's lots of robins out here. That's why I love being out here so much, because it's slow paced. You've got to take everything at a leisurely pace. Everything's calm. Everything's slow. Everything's relaxed. Everything out in nature is good for you. Everything. The sounds, the sights to behold, the sun on my skin, the fresh oxygen, all my animal friends, everything out here is good for me. I'm not scrolling, dopamine. What's next? What's going on? Jittery, anxious, comparison. Everything's calm, everything's cool, everything's chill. It's beautiful out here, it's so beautiful. Get out in nature more, less screen time. Social media as a whole isn't bad for us. What's bad is that it doesn't have a time limit. Remember that. It's not the social media that's bad for you. It's how long you spend on it. It's also who you choose to listen to, right? If you're listening to people who are constantly shaming you for not doing this, not doing that, for being that person, for not being that person, you should look like me, you should think like me, you should be like me. It's not the person you want to be, right? These aren't the people you should be following. You should be listening to people who help uplift you. You should be listening to people who help improve your life, to make you happier, to remind you that it's a blessing to be alive today. It is a blessing to be alive today. It's not a chore to be alive today. It is a blessing. And with that, I wish you all the love that you deserve going into your day. Thank you so much for watching. If you have a question for me, leave it below in a comment and I'll answer it. Message me on Instagram, George_Horlock, and I'll answer it. Have a beautiful day. Sending you so much love and appreciation. God bless.